PlayStation Plus game catalog additions for December 2024 revealed. Sonic Frontiers, Forspoken, and more. Sony has revealed the full lineup of PlayStation Plus games catalog additions for December 2024, which include Sonic Frontiers, Forspoken, and more. Announced on the PlayStation blog, a total of 12 games are joining the library, 11 on the PlayStation Plus Extra tier, and 1 on the PlayStation Plus Premium tier through a PSVR 2 offering. They are available December 17th, which was 4 days ago. Through the monthly offerings, usually include a handful of classic games too, Sony has already released Jak and Daxter, The Precursor Legacy, Sly 2, Band of Thieves, and Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves this month. It did so as part of the 30th anniversary celebrations, though didn't mention they'd replace the usual releases. So here's the full list. Sonic Frontiers for PS4 and PS5, Forspoken for PS5, Rabbids Party of Legends for PS4, WRC Generations for PS4 and PS5, FIST Forged in Shadow Touch for PS4 and PS5, Jurassic World Evolution 2 for PS4 and PS5, Coffee Talk for PS4 and PS5, Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly for PS4 and PS5, A Space for the Unbound for PS4 and PS5, PHOGS for PS4, Biped for PS4 and PS5, and Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge for PSVR 2. Sonic Frontiers is the latest lasted game from the Blue Blur and includes a franchise-first open-zone gaming experience. Sonic Frontiers is an ambitious open-world adventure that mostly succeeds at mixing up the Sonic formula, even when some of its ideas fall flat, IGN said in their 7 out of 10 review. Forspoken. A PlayStation 5 exclusive, Forspoken arrived with good promises of an open world full of magic but fell flat on release due to a lackluster story, gameplay, and performance. Forspoken's flashy combat and parkour can be fun, but they aren't enough to make its cliche story and bare-bones open world very interesting to explore, IGN said in their 6 out of 10 review. Just in time for the holidays, party games Rabbids Party of Legends brings mayhem to PlayStation through 4-player local multiplayer. Embark on a legendary journey filled with colorful characters with the Rabbids in the uproarious party game, reads the synopsis. Another entry in the WRC racing series, WRC Generations, is promised to be an authentic and comprehensive rally racing simulation, giving players the chance to drive powerful cars in the most famous rallies of all time. It earned an 8 out of 10 in IGN's review, in which we said with its absolute mountain of rally locations, WRC Generations is commonly generous package for grave groupies, asphalt addicts, and mudslinging maniacs alike. FIST, Forged in Shadow Torch, is described as a diesel punk exploratory platformer where players must fight through intense combat sequences, overcome challenging puzzles, and interact with an anthropomorphic cast of vibrant characters. When managing zoos becomes too tiresome, players can turn up the intensity by putting some dinosaurs on show. Jurassic World Evolution 2 allows just that, dinosaur park management simulation, where players take charge of their own Jurassic World park. While park management and customization aspects are a bit shallow, Jurassic World Evolution 2 has tons of excellent dinosaurs and exciting ways to interact with them, IGN said in their 7 out of 10 review. Now a game me and I know Dr. Games 101 played, Coffee Talk.
Oh, yeah.
If that's too much, players also have the option for something cooler. As the barista in late night coffee shop, Coffee Talk offers players friendly conversation and late night warm drinks as the colorful and fantastical inhabitants of alternative Seattle, including elves, aliens, and orcs, its synopsis reads. Fancy a double shot? Dust off your coffee machine and prepare your warmest smile to meet your favorite customers again in the second episode of Coffee Talk, Hibiscus and Butterfly, a coffee brewing and heart-to-heart talking simulator. Another quieter game comes in the form of A Space for the Unbound, a 2023 game with pixel art and a heartwarming story. A Space for the Unbound is a slice of life set in the late 90s and rural Indonesia that tells a story about overcoming anxiety, depression, and the relationship between a boy and a girl with supernatural powers. Its synopsis reads: What's better than one dog? A two-headed dog? Maybe. In in Fox, you play as a two-headed dog called Red and Blue. Linked by a stretchy belly, you'll need to bark, bite, and bounce your way through obstacles set across the themed worlds of food, sleep, and play. More multiplayer fun comes to Biped, a co op action adventure game that emphasizes real time collaboration between two players, according to its official synopsis. Guide Aku and Slia, two charming bipedal robots, through intricate paths leading to planetary beacons. Finally, virtual reality fans can, this month, enjoy Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge Enhanced Edition. IGN called it an excellent way to showcase the best features of a fancy new PlayStation VR 2. IGN said in our 7 out of 10 review, the first few hours of the story are its episode 1 and 2 bad, but then things turn around and immerse as in Star Wars greatness. So let's look at the comments. Very well, Very goes Sonic Frontiers and Forspoken. Two games I've been mildly curious about, but not enough to spend anywhere near $20 on.
Oh
Pretty
yeah.
cool. I'll give them both a proper shot. Finished the Forspoken demo when it dropped, and it convinced me not to spend money on it. I was pretty sold on the trailers alone, but the voice acting throughout the demo had me cringing pretty bad. As for Sonic, I just hadn't bought a new Sonic title in over a decade. Glad I gave Sonic Generations a shot though. Solid game. Uh, Kyler Kyler Oryx goes, my experience with Forspoken was similar, except that playing the demo for 5 minutes convinced me not to play the game, even if it was free. And one track goes, I'll try Forspoken eventually, but honestly, I have too many great games to play that don't have much time for stuff that I only kind of want to try. So, did any of these titles interest you, even though you don't have a PlayStation?
Well, Forspoken, more like Forsaken, but who's counting? But Forsaken, I've always wanted to play for the sake of like understand about what they tried to do for the PS5 and all, because obviously they amped up the crap out of the graphics for the PS5 system. So I was like, let me try to one day keep it on my wish list. It's on PlayStation 5 only, if I recall correctly. Which should be on a PC soon, if I recall correctly too, right? No, you know, on
They didn't
PC.
say it was coming to PC.
Okay, so I have to get the PS5 no matter what. So that's going to be on my wish list because obviously, it's. I mean, they try to do their best to make it epic. I will admit, I get, but in today's world, they're not most gamers are going to understand all that culture, the urban culture, from God knows when that time period was of the urban, living and stuff like that. Yes, it could go back to 1990s, early 2000s, and all with the gang life and living on the streets and all. But obviously, I do live in Queens, New York. I will admit that, not the exact location, of course, but well, back in the 80s and 90s, it was horrible at times to live in this neighborhood or within the areas of this matter in New York City. And, the culture, gang life, whatever it is surreal to some people. Me personally, I never got involved in that stuff. So I consider to like one of those guys to avoid trouble, avoid the everyday, struggles of that street culture, you want to call it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still hang out, talk to people on the streets, or whatever. But I don't know. It's all that gang mentality type of stuff where you want to get the bread, rob people, all that stuff. So that main character, of course, spoken was kind of cool that they try to bring about that better. But most people today, they can't relate to that. So that's why it failed. Maybe to obviously from somebody a place to think of like people who are from these areas of New York City, Philadelphia, Atlanta, Georgia, you name it. All these people, they can link, but it's the wrong time to put that out there. And maybe if they did it back 20 years ago, it could have worked well. But obviously, the niche audience would definitely buy it up, most likely, if they really want to, that is. But it has to be more relatable, though. That's the problem with Forspoken. So the good on the special effects, the gameplay, I bet it looks good in my opinion. But then the story of it is kind of like Yeah, they fucked it up, for the for a certain audience of gamers, So now Coffee Talk and Coffee Talk Two. Coffee Talk, I played the first one so far. Still playing it to this day. I haven't played it in about almost 6 months now. Last time I checked, and it's all right to look at a story from like a relaxed position. Like you're not really interacting with you interact with the game obviously at the same time, but not as what you're thinking of with control at all times. So you
Well,
actually watch the
I played
yeah.
Coffee Talk all the way through, so
Okay, that's good. Well, at least you had made time for it. But when I played Talk and Talk on the YouTube channel of mine, it was all right to watch. Most of it, obviously, they try to mix up with the today's environment, with the all the political correctness and the geeky culture and shit like that, and make it all look like aesthetically and hippie. What's that? I'm not so hipster, hipster culture, whatever. So, because obviously, in Manhattan, the parts of Manhattan up until now, if you go to places like say Upper East Side or whatever, like that's kind of like what's like in the stories of Coffee Talk in a sense. Go to a local coffee barista, you buy your $10, $12 coffee, and Starbucks is one of those matters. There's other baristas out there too, obviously, but it's that kind of life there, in my opinion, what I witnessed and also experienced and also was told here where I live in where I live here in New York City and all. So these two opposite games, Forspoken and the Coffee Talk game, is kind of like it's their niche audiences for that matter. And Forspoken kind of is horrible at relating to people on a consistent level, while Coffee Talk is consistent even though the gameplay is not all that exacerbated. So it's those games stood out to me and all. So I wanted to play Coffee Talk 2 as well one day and finish Coffee Talk 1. So that's all I got to say about the matter.
okay. Um, I played the first Coffee Talk all the way through. It was honestly, I didn't find the story that terribly interesting. I did like the make coffee making part of the game because some people would say they wouldn't tell you what they wanted. They'd be like, "Give me something really light and sweet."
Yeah.
Um, and then it would tell you if you were about to add something, how light it would be, how bitter it would be, how and basically you had to make your decisions from there. And that was fun. Honestly, that was the most interesting part. But the story, um, it just that was a chore to get through. I don't know. I because other than making the coffee, there's really no choices you can make. So I kind of felt like the story was a chore when all you could do is make the coffee. Honestly, I wish the game was more about making coffee. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I think there is a mode in the original Coffee Talk where you can where you have to make like different cups of coffee with different tastes, but you have like a limited amount of time to do it.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Coffee Talk. So I don't know if Coffee Talk 2 would interest me, or if I would feel the same way about it as I did the original Coffee Talk. Um, the Sonic game I would love to try, but the rest of the games I had no interest in.
I understand.
Anything else to add, or ready to move on?
Forwarding about Forspoken. Now I'm not gonna spoil the ending. I didn't. I'm to be honest with you, I didn't see the full ending, but it's kind of like they call it the isekai experience like in Japan. So that's what it interests me to the play Forspoken as well. Even though most people out there in today's world be like, yeah, I'm not gonna play that crap. But to me, it's like I want to see. It kind of mix the Japanese culture, the Japanese sense of that particular genre of gaming and RPG elements with urban culture and also with a little bit of magic power stuff like that, magical moments, stuff like that, like you see at Disney and all. So it's that's all I have to say about the matter. But it's just something that have an open mind, guys, as a gamer. and you might see some different cool games out there. Like the other week or two, I played The Amazing Princess Sarah. I thought it was like a cheesy, horrible experience of a retro game, but it's actually pretty good, and I did a good job of doing playing that game and all. So it's keep an open mind, guys. You might see what's out there. So